I know I'm a little late to the party on this subject matter. Figured I'd just give my own little 2 cents. Probably heard everybody in there takes on this. But of course, I have to mention Monday is a massive day for us. ISOM number 2. We have something really special for you all in the morning. If you are a previous customer, if you sign up to our notifications on the website, like right now, email notifications, if you go to ripaverse.com, you're going to get an email, okay? And it will tell you the exact time that it's going to drop. So you got some limited items, limited quantity items you're going to want to get in on. Appreciate the support. The hype's already building back up, and it's certainly exciting to see. Let's just say that. All right, so this whole NickMercs thing, COD thing, it's been interesting watching it develop. Now, for those of you that don't know what's happened, long story short, big streamer by the name of NickMercs had a very mild take of leave the children alone. And I think it was a comment that he made in response to someone else who was talking about those Armenians ended up having some tussle with these weirdo communities trying to put sort of nonsense, let's say, in these on children. Let's just say that. Now, I've talked about that a million times. A lot of people in our corner talk about it a million times. And like I've said before, I think this is going to be the one issue that these weirdos it never was about, oh, we just want to get married for these types of weirdos. Perhaps for many, many others. But for some, it was more about making sure or doing everything that they could to get you to embrace and accept every single thing about them. And when they came for the children, which is what they've certainly pushed for as of recent, a lot of these people have told on themselves as far as what their aspirations are. It goes well beyond, again, what I just mentioned. For them, it's we need even the youth knowing and understanding and embracing and learning and all that stuff. In fact, the envelope is long pushed. It's more for them. It's like, bro, you see what's in some of these books. If you see what's in some of these libraries and all that, like this is foul. Let's just say that. I think that's the issue, or this is the issue where they just lose people on. I think for some, they were willing to let it go by. Now, COD, corporate entity, and COD, I mean Call of Duty Activision. NickMercs had operator skin on Warzone, if I'm not mistaken, or on Call of Duty. So he and Tim the Tap Man, they had them both at it at the same time, and well, they took down Nick's because of old previous comments that he made. Now, thankfully, NickMercs hasn't apologized. And you did have some of his colleagues back him, and I'll even show you right here if I can. Actually, no, it's not going to work, so I'm going to have to go over here. You have Tim the Tap Man, who's, again, I have a bit that I'm going to say about that, where he says NickMercs has been my friend for years. We went in getting our COD operators together. It feels wrong for me to have mine and him no longer have his. In support of my friend, please remove the Tim the Tap Man bundle. Here's my problem. As all these streamers who keep saying, yeah, I have his back, which is good. That is certainly better than nothing. I think there's one side that people are missing. None of these big streamers are addressing what he actually said. You know why? Because they chicken crap. So more, if they can spin it like, well, I'm just doing this to back a friend, as opposed to, well, this is an issue he was right on, because they don't want that backlash. See, this community has pimped a lot of people, and they're doing whatever it is that they want them to do. And it has a lot of people scared to just say, for us, it's easy, right? These are the guys that are tied to the mega corporate entities that have to deal with this sort of stuff. These guys try to play ball. See, and it's not that they're not political. That's a lie. A lot of people who talk about these streamers, like, well, for some of them, they just don't want. No, it has nothing to do with that. We saw in the summer of 2020, they were all political. Every bit of them were political. They had no host of streams, BLM, and all this other nonsense. They have no issues getting into it's more social political than just straight politics like governmental stuff. These are more so activist groups, let's say, that they had no problem doing that. What they do is what's expedient for them and what the left upholds as valuable and value to them, That's the side that's the safe bet. Now, if there's a side that, let's say, non-leftists happen to take, well, then it becomes a problem, and that's one of these. See, they had been long ahead of that. So, which is why he says something that is mild. Oh, well, they're going to say he's anti-LGBT, he's anti-this, he's anti-that, because they can't have that. And this is how they pimp people into shape, or whip people into shape, doing things like this. Threatening sponsorships, making sure that folks distance themselves from them. So that was the one bit that I picked up. Again, I want to be clear. Yes, it is good that people that know Nick, because he did nothing wrong, he said nothing wrong, that they're standing with him. But I'm more intrigued by the simple fact that none of them, for the most part, outside of a couple, none of them are actually talking about the issue, because they themselves don't even want those problems at all either. So let's take that angle. Let's just say we're back at a friend, as opposed to, this stupid stuff that you guys are doing to children is out of line. This is going to be the issue. People are starting to draw their line right there. It's not even in the sand. They're just saying, like, we were with you until you got there. Okay, all that other stuff you were for, where you were already, I would argue, throwing it in people's faces. When you started going after children, then there was a problem. Where you felt like you needed the children to be taught where you're at ideologically, as it pertains to gender and all that stuff. When you thought that stuff was appropriate, then it became an issue. So I want to see, as this issue becomes one that is, I'm not going to say it's safe. It's not ever safe. Let's say it may be safer comparatively speaking, maybe a year ago. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where a lot of these chicken crap streamers and talking heads, and again, that's no disrespect to any of those guys. They take the expedient, popular position. It reminds me a lot of like the music industry. It's like the edgy teenager stuff, right? Fist in the air, whatever cause is the cause that the left is in is the safest bet to take. That's the cause that they take when they do want to stand somewhere in the activist realm or in the political realm. They'll take that position, but God forbid someone takes a position that's, let's say, not as socially expedient. Then these guys are nowhere to be found. They're nowhere to be found. But it's interesting. Hopefully more people learn to speak out so we can return to some sort of normalcy where people aren't getting bent out of shape, feeling like certain topics aren't off limits, which I'd argue is going to be this is going to be a freer, more prosperous country once we get to that point.